Toronto Blue Jays season in review above the clouds. We're your host. I'm Dale Manukduk.
And I'm Cameron Durrett. We're standing outside of Union Station where 22 years ago, the Toronto Blue Jays held their championship parade to celebrate the second of back-to-back World Series titles.
Yeah, Cam, you know Drake's latest effort titled What a Time to Be Alive, and I couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah, whether it was in reference to this team in this city is besides the point. It's the perfect mood for right now.
Yeah, there's a buzz percolating, not only in Toronto, but throughout our great country, that this bunch, I affectionately call them the Rocket Men, that this group can do something special.
Absolutely, Dale, and everything is aligned for a deep postseason run. But hey, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a look back at how they got here.
Blue Jay, David Price, and doesn't he look good in a Blue Jays uniform? Russell Martin's throw is a beauty. Oh, what a throw! Grand slam home run! Just another day at the office for Kevin Pillar. He's got it! That's how you win an MVP award.
What a season, none of which would have been possible without one player in particular. Now, I know baseball, like most sports, is a team game, but Josh Donaldson had himself a year. The kind that makes people want to wear his jersey, kids plaster his poster on their walls. For more on the bringer of rain, here's Sean Millett.
It's not often that upon joining a team, a player can so quickly go from the new guy to the guy. But for Josh Donaldson, the transition was smooth, instantly making the Blue Jays a better team the moment he stepped in the clubhouse.
Go to the rail. He'll get there, dives in and caught it! Oh, what a play!
He's a baseball junkie who craves the spotlight on the big stage. An offensive monstrosity that lays waste to opponents' pitching staff. A Gold Glove caliber defender with a vacuum for a glove and a cannon for an arm.
Josh Donaldson, without a doubt, is the best third baseman in the world.
Most importantly, he's the catalyst for a resurgence of a fan base that have been hungry for 22 years. Josh Donaldson's game has come a long way since joining the Blue Jays. The 29-year-old has put up career numbers in almost every offensive category. With the glove, he ranks among the top 5 in defensive third basemen. While the stats are impressive, it's his leadership in the clubhouse, his propensity to perform in the clutch, and his inclination to win at all costs that have not only captured the hearts of everyone in this city, but the entire nation. From Toronto, I'm Sean Millett.
Normally a season that good gets you some pretty serious hardware. But as our MVP panel discusses, the bringer of rain may be up against some thunderous competition.
Thanks very much, guys. I'm Rob Conway alongside Tyler Van Vagel. Tyler, Josh Donaldson had one of the greatest seasons by any Blue Jay in history. What did you take away from the year?
I look at his 41 home runs and his 122 RBIs. Not only does that help him jump himself ahead of Mike Trout for the AL MVP race, but it also helps his team get playoff bound.
And MVP candidates have to have a presence in the dressing room, and Josh Donaldson has done that for the Blue Jays. After a tough road trip where they went 1-6, he came out to the media and said, look, this isn't the tri-league, this is the get-it-done league. And what does he do? Over the next 30 games, he has 9 home runs and 21 RBIs. Really backs it up when he calls his teammates out.
Yeah, it's one thing to walk the walk, but it's another thing to talk the talk, and that's exactly what Josh Donaldson did with the bat. Anytime the team needed a little bit of a get-me-up, he would do it. They're in a slump, he'd get that home run, get the win for the team. That's why Josh Donaldson puts himself ahead of Mike Trout.
Look, Mike Trout has had a fantastic season. He has 41 home runs himself, and probably should already have 2 MVPs. He only has the 1, but one thing that makes Josh Donaldson so special is he never takes a play off. You have a little routine fly ball into the stands in Tampa Bay, Marco Estrada on the mound trying to get a no-hitter, and he dives into the stands like an absolute maniac.
Yeah, it's one play that stands out for sure in the year, but it's another couple that really stand out is when he's able to barehand the ground balls at third base and throw into first like it's nothing. Very rare did he make an error, and it's not like any other fielder in the league can do what he does.
And look, it's going to be a really tough decision for the AL MVP voters, but for Tyler Van Vagel, I'm Rob Conway. Back to you guys.
As I said before, baseball's a team game, and this year, the sum of the Blue Jays' parts produced an offense that left the majors in its dust. Here's Jamie McIsaac.
It was a season of confidence and dominance. This year's Blue Jays lineup was one for the ages. From 1 through 9, a league's best in runs, RBIs, and home runs meant no one lacked production. The combined average of .269 from rising stars like Kevin Pillar, Chris Colabello, Ryan Goins, and Justin Smoke kept the bottom of this order competing with the powerhouse sluggers at the top.
The Blue Jays win it. Chris Colabello, 2-run single in the ninth.
On top of finishing first in the majority of statistical categories, this Jays team also made their imprint setting franchise records. The three-headed monster of Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Bautista are the first trio in Jays history to combine for 120 home runs, making them one of the most dominant lineups in all of baseball. From Toronto, Jamie McIsaac.
Coming up on Above the Clouds, the busiest trade deadline in franchise history. Anthopoulos goes all in, and some welcome surprises. The Jays find success in the unlikeliest of places.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
This is Hollywood Suite. Subscribe to Hollywood Suite today.
So, I'll be home late tonight.
Are you gonna do drugs with your friends?
Maybe. Can I borrow the car?
Sure. Driving high is not a big deal. It's definitely not like driving drunk.
What are you saying if you don't say anything?
Taking the car tonight, okay?
Talk to your teens about the dangers of drugs and driving. Learn more at silencecanbedeadly.ca. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free Canada.
There's some talk about this, and it's going to materialize here. Let's see what he's got. Well, a career game so far. We're not done yet.
The Lemonade Car Show, brought to you by Omvic. Call in live to speak with experts for tips, advice, and guidance to help you save money on your vehicle. The Lemonade Car Show, brought to you by Omvic. Returns Wednesday, October 21st at 9 on Rogers TV.
Welcome back. Dale Manuktuk with Cameron Durrett. Cam, this is not the same team we saw back in the spring, and for one suffering through the longest playoff drought in baseball, changes were going to come.
Absolutely, Dale, and on July 27th, those changes started to take place in a major way. Here's Rodney Heemstra to break down the Toronto Blue Jays' historic trade deadline.
It started in the middle of a Monday night.
Here to announce the acquisition of LaTroy Hawkins and Troy Tulowitzki.
Out of nowhere, the Blue Jays had acquired one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. A two-time Gold Glove winner who hit .300 and brought even more pop to the league's most potent offense.
Long deep drive. Welcome to Toronto, Troy Tulowitzki.
And 48 hours later, again in the wee hours of the night, Alex Anthopoulos was at it once more.
Obviously here to announce the acquisition of David Price. Very excited to have acquired him.
The Blue Jays had gotten themselves the biggest fish in baseball's pond, a Cy Young winner, and the first true ace to take the mound in Toronto since the departure of Roy Halladay 6 years earlier. With the trade deadline just a day and a half away, Toronto's GM wasn't done yet. While Troy Tulowitzki was making his impressive debut, Anthopoulos sacrificed 2 more nights of sleep, and just before Major League Baseball's noon cutoff hit on Friday, the Blue Jays had bolstered their roster even further.
Pleased to announce both the acquisition of Ben Revere and Mark Lowe.
The late inning work would be aided with a hard-throwing righty in Mark Lowe, and the carousel in left field finally stopped with Ben Revere, a plus defender who brought with him both speed and offense, having led the National League in hits just a season ago. And so, exactly 7 days later on a national holiday, fans of Canada's team got to see the whole picture of their newly acquired puzzle put together for the first time.
This will be a ground ball to short. Tulowitzki. This ball is drilled deep. David Price will walk off the mound in the 8th. He's retired 15 straight.
With his contract up at the end of the year, many were wondering in July if Alex Anthopoulos would be able to do enough to save his job. But with a 40-18 record since the trade deadline and an AL East title, the 38-year-old from Montreal has not only done enough to earn himself a likely lucrative contract extension, he's also garnered enough acclaim from both sides of the border to become the odds-on favorite to win Executive of the Year. In Toronto, Rodney Heemstra.
Tulo and Price didn't happen overnight. Those trades were part of a master plan by one of the Big's most unsuspecting curators, General Manager Alex Anthopoulos.
Thanks. I'm Ian Duffy, joined by Michael Blundell. Those trades certainly did not happen overnight, Mike. One of the craziest trade deadlines in Blue Jays history. You know, when Alex Anthopoulos got here in 2009, he preached about a 5-year plan. Well, guess what? Here we are in year 6, the Jays on the verge of the playoffs, and Anthopoulos a potential Executive of the Year candidate. So, Mike, what kind of a job have the Yankees done?
Well, look, Ian, there's obviously going to be ups and downs, right? Back in 2012, the Blue Jays went all in. They got Burley, Dickey, and Reyes, but they gave up some really important pieces to get there. They gave up Noah Syndergaard and Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets. On the Miami side, they gave up Adeiny Hechavarria, the shortstop.
Henderson Alvarez, the starter. He's had some success in that Marlins rotation as a hard-throwing sinker baller.
Exactly. So all those guys could help the Blue Jays right now. And obviously, they're built for success in the moment, but down the road, can they continue that success? That's my question.
I think they're absolutely set up for success. You talk about some of the big names that they brought in. You think of a Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, a Russell Martin, even the young Marcus Stroman. They're all guys that are locked up for a couple more years, and they're set up to be cornerstones of this franchise. The main issue I have is when you bring in those guys, you have to give up a little something in return, and the Jays did just that, giving up some of their top pitching prospects in Daniel Norris and Jeff Hoffman. So the cupboard's a little bare in the farm system right now.
Exactly. You say the cupboard's bare, but did Alex do a good enough job building rotation for the playoffs?
Absolutely, I think he did. When you think about it, Mark Burley's not even going to be in for the ALDS. He's going to be on the bench, not even on the roster. So if you can afford to have a guy like that sitting on the bench, I think that's a good problem to have. The main issue I have is going forward, David Price, Marco Estrada, both free agents this offseason.
Yeah, and they aren't the only ones out of contract. The man himself, Alex Anthopoulos, is out of contract, looking to extend his tenure with the Blue Jays. And for a team with a massive offseason ahead of them, he's certainly one of their biggest question marks. Back to you guys.
There's no question that Anthopoulos shocked not only Blue Jays fans, but the entire baseball world. Yet, as Carlisle Fiset explains, those weren't the only surprises this season.
The headlines were pretty clear. Marcus Stroman, torn ACL,
done for the year. It seemed like a back-breaking blow for a club built to contend this season. And an appearance on the mound, even a late one, seemed far-fetched. Far-fetched to everyone except Marcus Stroman.
But I'm going to be fine, you know what I mean? My family's strong, my friends are strong behind me. Everyone has been way more supportive. A ton of people have reached out from all around the league, and so I'm fine, you know what I mean? I'm pretty upbeat, and I'm focused on this rehab, and I'm just focused on getting back and competing.
Stroman embarked on an intense summer rehabilitation program while completing his bachelor's degree at Duke University. His return to the starting rotation alone was remarkable, let alone his performance. Stroman went 4-0 in 4 starts, posting a 1.67 ERA and 18 strikeouts.
For a guy that had no spring training, coming off the big injury, but everybody knows about, it's really pretty remarkable. But Stroh's different. I don't think there's many guys who can pull that off, really. Most guys probably would have been done for the year, but he was motivated to come back. But he's a great competitor, and he's got great stuff.
Stroman's position in the starting rotation wasn't the only unexpected development the Jays enjoyed this season. Sure, the big bats of Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion deserve a lion's share of the accolades, but who knew just how valuable the guys at the bottom of the order would become? From Kevin Pillar, a.k.a. a human highlight reel.
Drive to center. Pillar is back and makes another terrific catch.
To Goins up on a Tuesday. In any sport, a championship team needs overachievers. Ryan Goins had career-high numbers in virtually every offensive category. The combined numbers of Justin Smoke and Chris Colabello are on par with Jose Bautista in virtually the same amount of at-bats. And Kevin Pillar?
Off the bat of Victor Martinez. Here comes Pillar, no problem there.
Contributions like these weren't up on the drawing